Today we're talking about one of the coolest, most interesting little freshwater oddball species in the aquarium hobby and how to care for them. So keep watching. Welcome to another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV with me, Salty Alley, here at a Wakefield location. And today we're talking freshwater, and we're talking about one of the most popular freshwater oddball species in the aquarium keeping hobby, and that is the freshwater pufferfish. Just recently, in our most recent shipment, we received some awesome little Amazon puffers, and they're considered to be one of the more friendly pufferfish species in the freshwater aquarium hobby. I'm really excited to talk about these guys because they're extremely popular and really interesting, and just really cool fish. So I want to show you guys how to care for them and what it takes and what aquarium you need to keep them. First off, what is the Amazon puffer? So an Amazon puffer is a true freshwater species of pufferfish that originates from the Amazon River. They are a small species that only gets about 3 inches long. They're an omnivore, so that means that they eat both meat and plant material. So they mainly feed on little crustaceans like snails, shrimp, worms, and other little things. They are scavengers, so they're always looking for food and little worms and whatnot in the substrate. These guys are, like I said, considered friendly. So as a pufferfish, this is always taken with a grain of salt. They are a fish that you can keep with other fish, but you just have to be careful on your selections. I always suggest keeping them with very small, fast-moving little fish, such as like neon tetras or something that can get away from them. Because being a pufferfish, even though they're more friendly than their distant relatives, like the green-spotted pufferfish, who is a actually brackish species, they are actually still a little bit aggressive. So they will nip at fish, especially if they can catch them, they will. They don't view fish as a food, as like I said in the wild, they don't feed on fish, they just feed on little crustaceans and things, but they are very inquisitive and curious and sometimes a little aggressive still, so they will nip at any fish if given the chance. So I always suggest keeping them with a small schooling fish, for example, like a neon tetra or something very fast that can get away from them. I've also heard you can keep them with cory cats. This is something I take lightly because cories usually, even though they're fast, they can get away. They typically just stay on the bottom and they may still get nipped at, and it could stress out the fish as well. So usually a nice small schooling fish would be best. So being a friendly puffer, they actually really do require being in a group together. They can actually become extremely stressed if kept alone. So I always suggest at least groups of 3 or more in an aquarium, as they highly benefit and thrive with the company of each other. The ideal setup would be a species-only aquarium, so you don't have to worry about other fish getting nipped at, but it can be done, like I said. Just always make your selections carefully. You could do a really cool community setup with these guys with just them and do an Amazon biotope aquarium, and that would be really cool to do. It's extremely important in the home aquarium that they are fed snails or other hard-shelled crustaceans, and the reason for this is because just like other puffer species, their beak, which is actually composed of 2 bottom teeth and 2 top teeth that are fused together, it grows continuously just like rodents, so it never stops growing. This means that they need to be able to shave them down on something hard, so feeding them stuff like snails and shrimp that have hard shells will help keep that beak trimmed down so that it doesn't overgrow. If it does become overgrown, they are very prone to starving and unfortunately leading to their demise. So I always suggest making sure you have a fast breeding snail in the aquarium or a separate aquarium with snails such as ram's horn snails. They're usually an ideal food source for them as they breed very quickly. They're a smaller species of snail. They're extremely cheap to obtain. As I mentioned before, these guys should have snails in their diet, but they also should have another wide variety of foods. So they should have things like mysis shrimp, bloodworms, tubifex worms, and other small little frozen foods in their diet. They sometimes will also eat pellet foods such as vibrobites or something that looks similar to a worm. You can usually get them on and get them eating those. But it's still always important to make sure that you're offering them a wide variety of foods and definitely snails. So these guys are actually not super picky on water parameters as far as pH and temperature goes. They can handle quite a wide range. They would prefer a little more acidic water, such as like 6.5 or even neutral at 7, but they can handle up to 7.5 or even 8. As far as temperature goes, they can also handle quite a wide range of temperature as well. They can handle anywhere from 73 degrees up to 82 degrees, but 78 degrees is ideal. Pufferfish require a high oxygen level in the aquarium, so making sure that you have a high flow in the aquarium is actually very important for these guys. They prefer swimming in the fast-moving currents, as they are found from the Amazon River basin where there is fast-moving water and high oxygen levels. So keeping them in a tank with a fast-moving filter or even a small power head would be ideal. Despite their wide range of water parameters, they are still extremely sensitive. Pufferfish in general are not a beginner species. They definitely require somebody who is able to stay on top of the aquarium and make sure that you're keeping all of your parameters in check, as they're extremely sensitive to ammonia and nitrite, and you want no traces of that in the aquarium at all. Being pufferfish, they're extremely messy, so they make a huge mess when they're eating. They chew up the snails and whatnot and spit them out, and stuff goes floating all over the aquarium. So with that being said, they definitely need to be kept with a very good filtration system. Ideally, even a canister filter would be best, or large hang-on back filters with lots of biomedia in the aquarium. Even though these guys only grow to a size of only 3 inches, they still require a larger aquarium as they're extremely active and they love to swim back and forth throughout the aquarium, so a longer, wider tank is best. We have a Waterbox 65.4 that would be fantastic for these guys because it's got the 4-foot footprint, lots of space for biomedia, and it would make a fantastic tank. But anything from 50 gallons and up would be best for these guys. As I said, a shorter, longer tank is better than a tall tank, so just keep that in mind when picking them for your aquarium. And the age-old question, do they puff up? They can definitely puff up, but this usually is because they are extremely stressed and it's not something we want to provoke them to do. It is very cute and funny when they puff up, but it is definitely not something we want them to do. So we always suggest not trying to make your puffer puff up. It takes a lot of stress to make them do that. So we always suggest just enjoy them how they are. And if you're lucky enough, you may see them puff up to stretch. Once in a while, they'll actually puff up their body to try and stretch. You know, just like how we stretch in the morning, they actually like to do the same thing sometimes, and they'll blow up for a few minutes and then they'll shrink back down. If you're lucky enough, you may get to see that, but please don't try and make them puff up. Like I said, it's extremely stressful on their body, especially when it is out of fear. So we try to just make sure that we just enjoy them how they are because they're still super cute and fun to watch. If you find your puffer is glass surfing a lot, which basically just means going up and down on the glass and really not exploring the aquarium, they may just be looking for some more flow in the tank. Like I said before, they actually prefer a high flow in the aquarium, so you could even try increasing your filter's flow or even adding a very small power head in the aquarium, as this would definitely benefit them, and it provides a lot of enrichment for them. Because they are an extremely smart species, they do require some more enrichment than some other fish do. So some flow, some extra plants, some more decoration in the aquarium is definitely great for these guys. And trying to replicate their natural environment is key. They will definitely thrive and do best that way. They currently are not captive bred, so these guys are from the wild, so you know, trying to replicate that wild environment will definitely make them happy and healthy, and you'll be able to enjoy them just the way they are. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Ocean State Aquatics TV with me, Salty Alley, and I hope you guys enjoy looking at these guys and learning about them. Just keep in mind, these are not a beginner species. They're definitely a fish that requires some extra care and research, and if you want to come in and learn about them and talk to me, feel free to come right on in anytime and check them out. We also have them available at our Coventry and Seekonk locations as well. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and you know what to do. Keep it fresh, baby.